guys doing? This is Real Sensi OG. Today we're here with SM Familia. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
We're doing good, man. Doing good. Isaac, how you feeling?
Doing great. Feeling great.
Doing great. Glad to be here in Huntington Beach. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Bless.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming out.
Of course.
Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors, Boundless Tech, Puff Sauce, and Red Feathers Farms, keeping us all elevated. You already know
man.
it's good.
Yes, I. Thank you guys so much for coming down. SM Familia, you guys got to check them out. How'd you guys all get your start in music?
Long time ago. We're all musicians from San Diego.
Straight up.
I think at this point, between all 8 of us, we have like probably 100+ years of professional experience. Like some of these guys are from other big bands in San Diego.
That's
Have been
awesome.
touring for years and years and years. So as a band together, we probably have a good like 6 years of us just like finally like joining forces
That's
from a
awesome.
side of all our
Establishing.
side projects, like doing something our style, you know, some Latin reggae style.
That's
and,
amazing.
So that's how we kind of formed
bringing
this
that.
this massive Frankenstein of music.
It's
and
amazing, you
musicians.
know, the infusion, you know, different cultures, different people, you know, mixed all together.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're San
Wasn't
Diegans,
on
you
the
know,
mic.
so we're like border town people, you know what I mean? So it's so mixed out there, so we're all so mixed in the band, so we have to bring our culture and our roots into our music. You know?
Straight
it's
up.
a responsibility
That's what
we
it's
have
about.
to our ancestors. So
Exactly. Always pay and respect, you know, and love, you know, first and foremost.
yep.
When did you guys first realize you guys wanted to pursue reggae music? I know you guys already talked about it a little.
Man, when was your first like reggae show you played? Do you remember your first one, Isaac?
I would say my first group that I actually joined was the Revelations, and they're originally from San Diego. And Elijah Emanuel was the lead singer, but before him it was the Revelations, and that was my first keyboard gig. That was in 2000.
That's awesome.
So that's, I mean, you know, it just goes from there. I was like 12 years old or something at that point, you know. So I just grew up listening to reggae music as a kid, as a youth, along with a bunch of other music too.
Yep.
But it's crazy, you know, throughout my years of training and stuff in music, reggae came last. Like I learned jazz, funk, like all this crazy stuff before, and then reggae came after as far as like playing it.
Yep.
It's got to be one of the tougher ones I've had to learn.
Yeah.
Like I said, we could do bebop jazz all day, you know, like, you know, read through charts all day. But when it came to reggae, it was definitely one of the harder ones to learn, you know.
Whole other
And
style.
this guy, too.
Yeah, that's a tough question for me, man. I mean, the first time when I realized that I wanted to pursue reggae music was honestly when I played with this cat, El Gato, Felix, with SM. You know, I listened to reggae music for many years, and of course, it's always hit me deep in my soul. I didn't really realize how, but now I feel like almost after studying this type of music for years, I could almost give like a semester class in college about the different types of reggae, like, you know, the roots, the dancehall, the Latin reggae, you know, even this West Coast reggae that's come out now about, you know, Cali roots. That's what they're all about, even though, like, me personally, I like the roots. You know, I mean, reggae has transcended generations, and it's made me realize a lot about just the simplistic placement of beats, you know, where that bass is hitting, you know, where the keys are hitting. Like, when there's a slight little difference, it changes it. But realizing when I want to play it, I guess it would have to be when I start playing with these cats. SM Familia.
How long ago
I'm
was that?
grateful. That was, what,
Pop quiz.
6 years ago? I think 6 years ago now
Something like
when I
that.
showed
Wow.
up there. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Keeping them strong, you know?
Yeah, you guys are still going strong for sure. So you guys just recently released your new single, Rise Up, with Dred
Yeah.
Kennedy, Skill and Jaw. How was
Yeah.
all that? How did that all come together?
They're homies, you know, from a long time ago. Kennedy is a good homie, too, and he was living pretty nearby at my place for a little while, too, so we got a chance to really, like, hone in some, like, musical, like, collaborations, you know?
Definitely.
But it all came, let's see, so that song originally is called Revo. It's called Revolución en Español. It's a song that's on our album that we released in November last year. So it released as a Spanish reggae song, as a Latin reggae song. But we originally had the idea of, from just talking to Skill and Jaw and Kennedy, they've always wanted to do a track, and I just had the opportunity to do it. And so,
Definitely.
you know, this was like probably like 18 or something, 2018. Like, hey, let's do the track. Like, you guys are gonna be in town. They're in town for a show. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And then just happened so quick and so fast that
Definitely.
after the show, it was like 2 o'clock. We went back to the studio and just came up with some stuff right on the spot. Just 4 a.m. tracking sessions. You
That's
know what I
awesome.
mean? Like, super vibe.
Yeah,
After
straight
a
up.
smashing sold out show that they played there on such a good one. And us, the engineer, myself, that were all in the studio, were just on a sick one too. Just like, because originally it was only gonna be Kennedy, and then then Skilly just kind of came in the mix, and
Yeah.
we got it at this point, And
Exactly.
so I was just like, oh man, this is gonna be sick. And then just seeing the process, their musical process of coming up with their verses and their touches they put to the song. That whole collaboration we changed the drums. To Carlos from Sublime. So, ex-Tribal Seeds drummer.
Yep.
He's a homie too, local nearby, and he laid some drum tracks for us. It kind of changed that mood, that vibe, and came out with Rise Up, changed the title of the song, changed some lyrics up, and put it out at a, very unique time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That we're going through right now, and we had a lot of people, like, personally, like, DMing us, like, hey, that song you guys put out, man, like, dude, I'm at this, like, protest right now, dude, and your fucking song, I'm sorry, excuse me, your song,
you're good.
Sorry, with passion sometimes.
Let it flow, let it
just
flow.
Slips.
Uncensored.
They're just like, it's like the anthem for me right now. Like, I'm vibing right now hard, and it's just so good to see that, that it's something that hit people in a passionate way, with what, like I said, again, the craziness that we're dealing with in these times right now, 2020.
Definitely. So what kind of things do you guys like to do to get inspired to write your music?
I would say just sit down at the piano. And if someone gives me like a specific song or a chord progression or something like that, just sit down at the piano. That's my instrument, and just explore different possibilities, different melodies, different chord voicings.
And just play around with it.
Yeah, that I just sit down at the piano.
Oh
Not
yeah.
a lot of people have that discipline anymore, They just want to go play a show and stuff, But sometimes it seems like a waste sitting at the studio for like an hour or two working on the same thing, But after coming out of those kind of like times, you're just like, you get that much more better at your craft.
Yep.
And you come up with, a few things that are gonna be probably used in the future or, real soon, And
Yep.
like I said, not a lot of people have that, to just sit in the woodshed, right? As they call it,
Exactly.
just to like sit there and just go over and over. That's it takes a while to get that, for me it takes a while to get the creative side going.
Yep.
Because there's so much going on in the facade of my vision right here that it's hard to like just get out of the comfort zone and just get uncomfortable with myself for a moment, and
For sure.
it takes a while to get there, but once you're there, it's like you get lost in it, and then time goes by, but it's probably one of the more creative times to be in, creative spaces to be in. It just mentally takes a while to get into,
Yep,
like a little
definitely.
bubble that you have to get into.
100%.
Oh, that same creative process. What was it? The question was asking about the creative process we go through. I mean, going right off what Felix said. I mean, it's a woodshed thing. I've spent many years in the woodshed of hours and hours practicing like classical music. That's what I learned from. But recently, what I've been learning in a creative process is that I start going to, I listen to what I want to kind of mimic. I'm not stealing it from them, but I'll go listen. I'll pull up this track on here and kind of like figure out that bass line on like a recording program, and I transcribe that and kind of just base things off of that and learn from the masters. It's like when I get in that creative process. Other than that, creative process is like, when you're in the zone and you want to break out of the woodshed, is that if you spent that amount of time in the woodshed, you will already know what will sound good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like once you put in all that time of practice, like you just let it flow. You don't think about like playing notes this perfect. You just let it flow and just whatever comes to you kind of comes in
Exactly.
the creative process.
That's
And
it.
it really helps is when you have, the bass and the drums and the keyboard.
It's all
My
lined up.
weaknesses, my strength is the horns, but it helps when you have other strengths there to keep that creative process going on. And then all I need to do is just kind of add in that. It's like a recipe for a
Exactly.
cake. You need
Exactly.
the sugar, milk, all that. So it's
Straight
about
up.
mixing it together.
Bring everyone together, everyone's
Yeah.
strengths and
That's
weaknesses,
why I like
collide.
sports a lot because like everyone knows their role. The running back is obviously the guy in the back. The wide receiver's the one running out. They have the plans, the routes to get things done, and when they complete those tasks, they get it done. And
Straight up.
the thing is, like, you got to know your role, your strengths, and your weaknesses, and confront those weaknesses, and be like, okay, cool. I'm probably not the best at doing this type of style, or this, or this, or that. And that's why you have a band. Because it's one thing to be like a solo artist and create all the music and stuff, which is great. I do that myself a lot. But it's another thing when I do collaborative work with the band because, I just subjectify myself to say, like, okay, you know what? Mark has a ton more experience on horns and playing funk horn lines than I do. So let's collaborate. Let's make that work together as opposed to, no, this line. Let's just do this. Let's do me. Let's make it better.
So can we expect any new music coming from you guys in the next coming months?
Yeah, definitely. We are, like I said, this whole quarantine time has allowed us to be in our creative spaces at this point. Obviously, everyone's locked up for right now, so we couldn't make any excuses of why not to make new music. So we're working on a new album. We haven't really put that out that much yet at this point because it just kind of started coming to fruition on its own. But yeah, we are hoping to get a new album going. It's in the works already. We were just on our way over here listening to some new drum tracks that we recorded at the studio. So we're
awesome.
looking for a full length 11 track album.
That'll be amazing.
Just trying to
Looking
come
forward
up
to
with
that.
this is gonna be something we're trying to like really hone in. To be a strictly Latin reggae album. And then
Probably really roots.
even less known, try to, I'm Mexican, okay? So I sing in Spanish, I sing in English, I sing in both. I'm a Mexican American.
Bilingual.
All right, so I'm even down the road with both of my heritages, both my cultures. So what I wanted to do is find a way and make this happen, but the album's going to be Latin reggae. It's going to be a full Spanish album, Chicano style, so then I'd throw some English stuff in there, here and there too, you know? But I want to kind of come out with renditions of all that album again, but in English. So
That'd be super cool.
Like a
diversion.
diversion translation, not like exact translation, but just like a little diverted alternate version, like like they used to do like the what do you call it, the B-sides and stuff, of tracks.
That's
back
awesome.
in the day,
That's
So
super
just have,
cool,
like, a B track or a B
that
album.
you get to let people, experience that in like all different languages,
Yeah,
It's amazing.
And it's almost like it could be another creation as well. Especially with the songwriting part of it, it'll be kind of a new creation, And
Yes.
so but for the meantime, we got some new stuff in the works that hopefully we can be putting out some singles. We're planning out some single releases here pretty soon on all that.
Looking forward to that, you guys.
Thank you.
Can't wait for that. 2021.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's gonna be the year.
Yes,
I think for everybody, right?
Definitely.
2020 was kind of
honestly.
like a rebuild year, I think.
Restructure, with the mind, the power.
It was. You know how things have to fall down and break down before you can rebuild. That's kind of what we're in right now, and as a band as well. So trying to just get back to a point where 2021 we can come in really strong,
Straight up.
with content and just general just presence.
Yeah.
And all just just putting in face in the community. We do a lot of community works in San Diego too. Whatever it is, just come in full force 21.
Yeah, straight up. Is that the advice that you would give to aspiring musicians? Trying to do what you do. Just keep going 100%. Just never stop. And just really, it's all a mind game, you guys know. So you guys are ought to just keep, you know, working at yourself, you know, because there's a lot of puppets, you know, in the world. So you got to just stick to yourself and stick to what you guys know is true. So
Right, yeah. So the advice to give to other musicians. Sorry, I was distracted. So, of course, yeah, keep on it. I mean, don't lose track. There's a saying that a teacher told me I'll never ever forget. And it doesn't matter if you're playing music or whatever you're doing in life. It translates to everything. If you're a football player, if you're a sales broker, whatever, there's a saying that says, there's no staying the same in life. The trick is you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And the reason is because if you think you're staying the same, there's somebody, like for my instance, trumpet player, there's somebody in a practice room right now practicing and has been in there for 8 hours getting better. So with that scale, it's going to make me get worse. If I'm not practicing, pursuing my love, my passion for music, which let's get real, any artists out there who are true artists, we're in this for one thing, and that's to make the world a better place. Music does make the world a better place. It's what the world needs now.
Exactly.
That's why there's a song written about that. So anyway, keep pushing it. All those times in the practice room, your woodshed, like what we were talking about earlier, don't get down on yourself. Believe in it. All those failures will make you better, and just push for it. You're either getting better or worse. So don't think you reached a point where you're staying the same. Keep practicing to become better. Don't ever think you reach that point. There's a saying about like Miles Davis. He's like, man, there's a lot of jive-ass turkeys out there and shit. That motherfuckers ain't putting in the work. You know, but that means a lot, you know, coming forward. Like, you either are in the woodshed or not. Like, 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day gets you. Okay, I'm wearing a Kobe Bryant shirt. Real quick. I'll end it on this. Mamba mentality. I learned this one thing. He says, if you wake up an hour earlier than your competition every single day, think about that. It's just an hour that day, but at the end of the week, 7 hours. The next week, 14 hours. Every single month, you just picked up 30 hours or 31 hours on everybody else. At the end of a year, I'm not even going to multiply it, but you're already ahead of everybody else for whatever you want to do. If you want to create art, that extra hour gets you so much. Create it. Practice. Whatever you want to do in your heart, go with your gut and do it. Don't let anything deter you. And I'll leave it on that.
Exactly. There you go.
Boom, mic drop. It's that mama mentality.
Exactly. So is there anyone you guys would want to collaborate with in the future that you haven't been able to yet?
It's lots. Lots. It's lots of people. But honestly, like at this point, like more local people, you know? Because I just want to be organic as possible and blow up my city with me.
Yep.
Blow up my my barrio with me, which is not just SD, but LA, like you guys here, Southern California, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, in general, just collaborate with more artists
Local.
that are just local,
Exactly.
SoCal, you know, Santa Barbara and down, you know. Celebrate SoCal musicians.
Exactly.
You know? So it's like, you know, I can go pay freaking, what does Albo Rosie want? He wants like 5 G's for a verse or something. I can go do that. That's cool. Let's go do it. Let's go handle it. We'll go make a hit or whatever. That's cool. But what about that song that, besides the money and the cost, that I can do with Skill and Jaw or with Kennedy or with anybody else?
Yep, exactly.
It's going to be more organic, and we're going to be both on the same page,
Yep.
you know, from
Flowing.
A to Z of what it takes to make a song, you know?
Exactly. And that's what it's
So
about.
that's one thing I wanted to just collaborate with more local musicians, you know?
what do you think has been the most memorable experience while being on stage?
There's been so many. I guess playing with Ika Mouse has been a pretty cool experience because he just brings the vibe. But as well as another band that I play with, the B-Side Players, shout out to Carlos Paez. We did extensive tours across the United States and in Mexico. So in Mazatlan as well, Mexico. We've done a lot of work down there, and it's been really cool. So I would say some of those experiences right there
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Most memorable experience was Eka Mouse is definitely one. You know, when you hear that lead that just hit, you know, bam bam, bam, you know. But like when you hear Sister Nancy, that was the thing that hit me. Is like when I got to play that one horn line with Sister Nancy for bam bam, ba 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 ba. Ba, ba, and we were playing for like 10,000 people in
That's
TJ,
crazy.
Estadio Caliente. And like we were backing Rankin George on the same night. We played like an SM Familia set. We backed Rankin George and then Sister Nancy.
Damn.
And like me and the sax
Busy
player
night.
just ba ba. But you hear this roar that just goes, and you're like, holy shit. And she comes in like, tell me one thing, sister. You know, she's like, I'm not even gonna do it. I got goosebumps right now. Just think that I'm sharing the
Right.
stage with that legend.
It's
who, like,
crazy.
you know, you listen to she's on TV. You know, they're going to commercial break. That song is like everywhere. Like that's a legendary song. Like that hit me. That was one of the most memorable performances when I heard that roar. From playing like
Literally.
the simplest thing on trumpet, bop bop, bop bop, and they just everybody just roar.
Literally.
And then she comes in. What was it for you, Felix? What was the most memorable one?
Dude, honestly, that's a hard one. I mean, all of them still give me like shivers thinking about them, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say one of the better times or funner times, more satisfying times on stage was when I did the Latin jazz group back in the day on trumpet. Because I was sitting next to the top San Diego trumpet player, like just all time, like top ranking dude, Doug Mewson. Yeah. You know, so I was like next to him, and so the whole time I'm playing, I'm just like hella nervous, you know. But at the end of the gig, he's like, "Oh, dude, you know, you did pretty good, man. Yeah, you got some chops." You know? Like, oh, thank God.
You're like,
So it just felt super good, you know,
Yeah,
just
man.
like knowing that I actually, I guess, accomplished my mission, and my mission was just not to bomb the show. So I didn't bomb the show, apparently.
go.
So definitely one of the funner times on stage.
hell yeah. That's awesome for sure. Is there anyone you guys would like to shout out that has helped you throughout your whole music process?
Well, I would like to make a shout out to Jaw Oil Outlaws, as well as I did already shout out Carlos Paez from B-Side Players, Otra Vez, Maíz, el grupo, Reggae en Español. That's about it.
Yeah, there's definitely a few. Start at the beginning. Mr. Wright, my very first music teacher, man. You taught me everything. Mr. Nelson, Mr. Jaramillo, Dr. Caldwell, Dr. Sutherland, Kevin Mays, Charlie Richards, Peter Ortega. You were the man. Like, you taught me. I needed to go through all those teachers for you to tell me how it was on the other end once I learned it. So those ones, and there's another big shout out, Felix Gatto.
Yeah, I give thanks to everybody out there. That's just, you know, the main one is our supporters and our fans and our friends. You guys have been backing us up since day one, and that's truly the biggest shout out at this point. Everyone that's put in work with us, you know who you are already. You know, obviously big up the rest of the SM Familia band. You know, that couldn't be here today for this jam session we're about to have right now. But, yeah, big up all our friends, family, fans, and supporters for just simply hitting a like button all the way to coming to every single one of our shows. You know, you guys are the ones that really make it special for us. So big up yourselves, and then big up Real Sensi OG for having us out here tonight. This is San
Thank you.
Diego.
Bless up. Thank you. Appreciate you. How can people find your music, and how can they support you guys and do what you guys do?
All over the place, man. Just get your phone out, Instagram, Facebook, Download our music on
SM
Spotify.
Familia on all social media.
All over the place. SM Familia. Just Google SM Familia.
Yes.
You'll find everything. YouTube, Apple Music, whatever it is. Go to our website, smfamilia.com. We got some new merch up there as well that you can cop to be rocking some
merch.
Azteca style, you know what I mean? Some little Latino culture for all our LASD heads,
Yes,
that are all celebrating
That's big
this
vibes.
beautiful, beautiful heritage and culture that I carry desde Michoacán. So, with that being said, SM Familia all over the
Yes,
place.
run it, guys. All social media platforms. Check out their merch. That's awesome. And we're going to end it off. And since we're real Sensi, we got to ask, what is your guys' favorite strain and how do you guys like to smoke it?
We were just talking earlier, but I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago, train wreck. Like, it's can you say stepped on? I don't know. For weed, is that
It's
a
just
thing? But
It hits it in the lungs.
that old school train wreck, man, it just takes me back to those like, troublesome middle school days right there with that
The good
smell.
old days,
I remember that first time I smelled that train wreck. It was, oof. But I used to be just a blunt guy, just roll blunts, nothing else. But that's it's caught up to me now over the years. It's too much tobacco paper and stuff. So at this point, I mean, vape isn't helping either right now. But I just like to I'm just a pipe guy or a bong guy. I'm good just by myself in my studio. Just light the bong real quick for a little snap, and I'm good.
Yeah. That's awesome. Us too.
Well, since we take it back all those years, it was LA Confidential like 10 years ago. That shit was running hot in LA. That shit was hot. It was a sativa dominant. I don't get down with that usually. That shit was hot. Other than that, that first time with the OG, that original OG, when you first get that, that's why when I go to dispensary
It's
now,
like
I'm
butter.
I want that smell. I want that. It's like that diesel. You know what I mean?
It always has that flavor. It always brings it.
I
The
want
punch.
that in my butt. And then, other than that, the sweet shit, the first time I got some good blueberry, we went out, my old homie, he's a trombone player. Anyway, we went out to L.A. Fucking, he comes out, he had his card back in the day, and he came out, he's like, dude, they had fucking nugs inside a fucking baseballs of this shit. I'm like, I just got 1/8 of a nug, like that.
That's
big.
awesome. Just
dancing with
fluffy.
Blueberry, yeah.
Ooh.
That pure purple.
Fruity is always the
Sweet
go-to,
smell, and just frosty, yeah.
That's
frosty.
beautiful.
So those are a couple of my strains. I'll smoke anything though. I'll smoke anything.
That's awesome. We got to try all those, Thank you guys so much for coming down. We really appreciate you guys and what you guys are doing for the community and just keep spreading the positivity. Got to check out their new single, Rise Up, right now and get some new merch. Thank you guys so much for coming down. We're real Sensi.
Respect,
Woo! Thank you guys. Bless up.